Welcome everyone to the Sports Giant Network. And today in this video, I am talking about what is basically the biggest story of the MMA world this past week, and that is what Donald Trump said in his rally in Iowa last week, which was, I believe, it was before the 4th of July. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was before 4th of July. He said it. So Donald Trump basically went to the rally in Iowa, and he was talking, and he basically said that they're going to do a UFC fight in the White House for 4th of July 2026, which is the 250th anniversary of the United States being found and declaring its independence from England. And yes, Donald Trump said it. They're going to have it in the White House grounds, and that basically it seems like basically I think he mentioned that he talked to Dana, that him and Dana. I think he said in a speech that him and Dana talked about it, and that basically basically Trump wants it to happen, and I personally see it happening. I think it's 80-20 that it does happen, because Trump and Dana have obviously been friends for like 20 plus years, going back, because Dana White was one of the first. I mean, not Dana White, Donald Trump. Let the UFC do events in New Jersey. This is back when the UFC was banned, MMA was banned in majority of the states, because people was viewed as cockfighting, human cockfighting, and New Jersey was one of the few states that allowed it to happen, and it allowed fights to happen. And Donald Trump allowed the UFC to have events in his hotels in New Jersey, the Trump Palace and etc. So that friendship goes back there, for those of you who don't know. And so they've been friends ever since, because Donald Trump helped him out. Dana White, after Dana White and the Fertitas took over the UFC in 2001, when they were when they were first starting out as owners of the UFC, running the UFC, Dana White and them, Trump helped them out, and they've been friends ever since. Dana White's spoken for Trump at the rally, at the Republican National Convention 3 times when Trump ran for president. So they've been friends for a while, basically, as I'm trying to get at. Try to explain a little bit of the backstory. But yeah, these guys, yeah, these guys have been friends. Donald Trump's been at UFC events for like the last, he's been going to UFC events. Every time he goes recently, they always have like a big entrance where he walks out. Him, gets like a walk out. The camera pans to him as he goes to his seats. He was at UFC 316 in June last month in New Jersey, so he was there. So yeah, Trump loves his UFC, and he's a big fight fan. And what I think about this, I love it. I hope it happens. Like I said, I think it's 80-20% happens. I want this to happen. This would be awesome for our 250th birthdays of the nation, that we have fights at the White House lawn. And Trump talked about he wants to have like 20,000 people there. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to do 20,000 people, because I know the White House is big and the lawn's big, but I don't know if it's like big enough to have like an event where you can have like 20,000 people. I don't know if it can do that, but we'll see. And like I said, 80-20, I think it does happen. I think it'll happen. There'll probably be people, but I don't know, like maybe like 1,000, 2,000 people. It'd be a cool venue, a cool event to have a fights at the White House. That would be awesome. Especially, you know what I think they should do? Part of me thinks well, actually, let me phrase that. I don't think they should, but I think they will. Well, part of me thinks we'll like to see it happen. Have it be like servicemen, like have it be like servicemen and women and their families be in the crowd, like that type of deal. I probably think it'd be kind of cool that people who served in the military in the United States actually be in the event, be the audience members for that. Have it be like them and their families, just because the probably thinks that it makes sense to have them be in the crowd, but probably thinks that people want to go, they should be allowed to go. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming what I believe. It's just this thought just came ahead just now. I'm trying to like think it out in live time, so it sounds a little jointed. That's why. So my apologies there, but yeah, like I do think they should have a section just for the servicemen and women who have served, to have them, their families attend the event, to to honor them, especially to honor them, those people who served in the military of the United States. That's just my thoughts, but because I don't want a bunch of senators and congressmen and women there, because a lot of them don't deserve it. A lot of them are pieces of shit. They don't deserve it. The people associated with the mayor of DC does not deserve to be there. Piece of shit, scumbag. Fuck them. Not to get too political, but that's just I just gotta mention it, because it just came to my mind. I just feel like might as well say it. I mean, now I'm thinking about it. Maybe I should start a political channel, just talking about politics and stuff. Give my thoughts because why not? But yeah, anyway, we'll see if it have 20,000 people. The White House lawn. I'm sorry, I get distracted in a whole tirade, etc. Well, somewhat tirade, but you get what I mean. Anyway, what's gonna bring up? Oh yeah, if this event doesn't happen in the White House lawn, I do think it should be done. There should be a UFC event pay per view on 4th of July 2026 in Philadelphia. If you can't do the White House lawn, now why Philadelphia? For those of you who don't know, Philadelphia is the birthplace of the United States. It makes sense to have a pay per view event in Philadelphia for the 250th birthday of America in the city where the country was founded. So that would be very appropriate if you can't do the White House lawn. That's if you can't do it, but I do think this is gonna happen. And I want it to happen. It'll be exciting, it'll be fun. And for those of you, and I know some people are thinking this is like Dieter or whatever, or just crazy or stupid, but I disagree. America became great and was founded by badass men. Like to do what the American founding fathers did to see from the greatest empire in the world at the time, well, greatest empire of all time, England, the British Empire, to see from that, especially when they were powerful too, and win, that took a lot of guts and a lot of badassery, about the term, what I mean, to do. And they did, and they were able to succeed. And yes, they had some help from the French and things like that, but still, they had to fight the wars. They had to fight themselves and do it and succeed. They did a lot of the work and they were able to succeed from the most powerful country in the world at that time. And and plus America became, America, a lot of people discovering America, and and things like that, not discovering, but like people who basically went out to the rest of the land, etc., and helped build the nation. It took a lot of hard work and blue collarness type of deal and badassery, etc. And the UFC is kind of, it's a badass sport, feel a lot of badasses. Gotta work hard in the UFC, obviously, to succeed. And you gotta take risks too in the UFC. If you usually, fighting is very risky. And a lot of people who found the nation took a lot of risks. Like I said, seceding from England, being independent, took a lot of risk. And people who helped build the country after the revolution took a lot of risk too. And America took a lot of risk, etc. In terms of America becoming the power it eventually did become. It took a lot, America took a lot of risk, and America has become what it's become, the greatest nation on earth, despite its flaws, despite its faults, and etc. Still the best nation on earth. And hopefully we can get back to that. Unfortunately, we have our own issues with deep states and etc. But it's another story for another day. But you get what I'm trying to say. So having a UFC event in the White House does, and America's birthday, does make sense. UFC, a very sport, takes a lot of risk, feel badasses, and very hardworking against blue collar sport. What's the term? It sympathizes America and how it became what it's become, from the revolution all the way to now, to America becoming its peak. And hopefully we can get back to that, which I think we will, but it's gonna take a lot of work. But that's another story for another day. But yeah. And also, Teddy Roosevelt, when he was the president, for those of you who don't know, he actually used to have boxing fights in the White House. He used to box as exercise and spar even pro boxers. And what he would do is he actually had a boxing ring in the White House, and he would spar guys, and other guys would spar each other there and box each other. So this won't be the first time that fights and combat have taken place at the White House. Teddy Roosevelt did it over 100 years ago when he was the president. And if you don't believe me, look it up. He actually used to do that. So Donald Trump, so the UFC being the White House lawn won't even be the first combat sport activity to take place at the White House. So you got that aspect. So it kind of makes sense for a UFC event to take place at the White House, and I love it. I want it to happen. Please let it happen. We need this. We need this. This would be so fucking awesome. And not only that, everybody want to fight. It'd be you can get a lot. You can make this a stacked card. It needs to be stacked too. This is America's birthday. It's gotta be stacked. It'll be easy to get fighters, because a lot of fighters, especially American fighters, but even non-Americans, having a chance to fight at the White House lawn, one of the most iconic buildings in America, maybe the most iconic building in America. Who's gonna want to turn that down? Especially have an opportunity to. They're gonna want to fight. Everyone's gonna want to fight. Why not? It's the White House. It's like if the UFC did an event at the Red Square in Moscow, or where the Kremlin's at, and other venues. You know what I'm talking about. Just look up Red Square in Moscow. You know exactly what I mean. Whether it be in the Kremlin itself or the Red Square, a lot of people want to fight in that card, especially not just Russians, but people in general. Consider fighting a historic event or venue or place in the world. People will easily sign up to fight there if the UFC ever did an event like that, for example. But yeah, that'd be great. This is yeah, but yeah, fighters will like to fight there, especially American fighters. And if it, dude, and if it does happen, it should be America versus the world, or at least the main card should feature one American, at least just one American. Says that you need to have it. America versus the world is a great idea. Doesn't have to be America versus the world. You can also do America versus America. Have two Americans fight each other. I don't know what the land's gonna be because we gotta wait and see. People are already putting up their fancy lineup. Which I get, but the problem is we don't know what's gonna happen from now to a year to next year because we still have like a year to go till the event happens. And if it does happen, and we don't know if guys who's gonna fight, who's not gonna fight, who can make it, who's injured, who's come off wars, all that, etc. So you have that aspect. And speaking of guys who want to come back and fight, we got two fighters who haven't fought. Well, John did fight last year, but he's not exactly been super active like other guys. Jon Jones, he's only fought twice since February 2020, and then you have Conor McGregor who hasn't fought since he got injured July 2021. Both guys want to won in this event. Let me start with Jon Jones and his tweets as I pull up a screenshot. Hopefully you guys can see it. So take a sip of this water real quick. You can see here what he says. Find the White House, the eye emojis, and then he just mentioned he re-entered a testing pool. His retirement lasted for 2 weeks. Figured keep everyone's options open. Then you got McGregor, who basically wants to fight. He's talking about how he wants to be, how he'll be the reigning president of Ireland under a year after the White House fight. Basically, and he mentions how the 4th of July next year is on a Saturday. And he's basically using it to promote, he's trying to run for a president of Ireland. He wants people to vote for him. It's kind of funny. He mentions he'll be the reigning president of Ireland under a year, considering reigns and presidency and leadership. When you think of reigns, it's not exactly you associate with kings and queens and like dictators, not exactly people who voted democratically or in a public way. It's kind of like that's not exactly the correct way of using it for politics, but it is besides the point. But yeah, my thoughts. Listen, I would be cool having McGregor. Listen, these guys. I hope if these guys can get their shit together and actually fight, the UFC has a lot of leverage and get these guys to come back. It'd be awesome to have these two guys. It would be great to have these two guys fight on this card, considering it's a big card, one of the many big names possible. Having McGregor fight come in general is great, despite the fact he hasn't fought in a while. He's still the biggest star in MMA history. Having him come back and fight would be massive for this card for UFC, especially in a card like this. That would be just legendary. And because both guys know John and Conor McGregor, despite making millions of dollars and doing a lot of things, there's nothing they can do to top this. They know it. That's why they want to come back. They've been difficult in the past. Both guys have been difficult with the UFC, trying to gain fights book. They know that they can. This is something they'll never be able to top, and then this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and they have to take it. So McGregor Chandler more like there, and then Jones Aspinall will be those two fights alone will be massive fights. Well, Jones Aspinall, just having McGregor back is massive. Not exactly because he's fighting Chandler, just because he's fighting. And having McGregor, it'd be great for Michael Chandler to finally not get blue ball at McGregor. Because Chandler waited for 2 years for the McGregor fight, the Ultimate Fighter. Well, almost 2 years, but you get what I mean. And then they were supposed to fight International Fight Week last week. I mean, not last week. Last year, excuse me. Then McGregor pulled out. And then, Chandler basically just got fucked badly by McGregor. And so yeah, so it'd be kind of good for Chandler to finally not get blue ball by this guy figuratively and actually fight. And Jones Aspinall, obviously, that fight that should have happened. And it'd be part of me, it'd be great to see John finally take the Aspinall fight like he should have. If it takes this for him to fight, and plus the whole America versus England thing kind of be kind of cool if it does happen. But yeah, like seeing Jon Jones basically want to fight, basically now I'm thinking about it. There's a part that doesn't want John to fight in this card. I feel like John doesn't deserve to fight Aspinall in this card just because he dug Aspinall. He made Aspinall wait for so long. He took the Stipe fight when it made no sense, and then he retired. And then he basically instead of retiring after the Stipe fight, just basically drag his feet to retirement. And basically didn't retire as he should have, and just made everyone wait for him while he couldn't decide whether to retire or not. Just doing that dumb shit that was so fucking annoying. And then he just retires because he ducks Aspinall. He's just trying to use the fact he's a heavyweight champ just for clout, whatever, and just being so annoying shit, and just annoying, gay, and all that dumb shit. And then now he wants to come back and fight. And the part of me feels like he doesn't deserve it. And I mean, the thing is also is that it's probably gonna be the main event. Him and Aspinall, if this become the if they do fight in the White House. And the problem is, I don't want the main. I don't want a guy that American MMA fans in general dislike, we're gonna root against once he gets comeuppance. Why should a guy like that main event a card like this? Why? Why? A scumbag piece of shit who abuses women, car crashes, drug addict, etc. Who basically didn't want to fight Aspinall because Aspinall was the younger guy and he was the older guy. It wasn't like how he used to be where he was always the young guy against the vet. He won every advantage possible. Same guy he ducked DC at heavyweight because he gave DC an advantage. That was his quote. A guy like that should not fucking be fighting in them. You know what? Fuck Jon Jones. No, Jon Jones should not be in this main event of this card. I don't want to see Jon Jones on this card, his White House card, especially if he's the main event. Fuck no, go fuck him. He does not deserve this opportunity. No, he should not be, especially as the main event. The main event should be an American that the majority of the MMA fan base in America and the world is not going to root against. It should not be. No, fuck him. Screw John. Go fuck yourself, Jon Jones. Piece of shit. No, stay retired, and stay retired. Basically, don't come back just to have this. Just don't come back. Actually, no. You know what? Come back and fight, but not in this card. Fight another card and have Aspinall spark you. That's what I want to happen. That's what will happen. Let's be honest. Aspinall will beat Jon Jones. Now we all know it. John knows it. Most people know it. It's just let's just call it for what it is. So yeah, fuck Jon Jones. Should not be in this card. McGregor on this card, yes. Have McGregor come back and fight. Yeah, it'd be awesome. Even though it should not be. I mean, I don't. McGregor Chandler's the main event of this card. Fine. You know what? If it's that or Aspinall Jones, I'd rather McGregor Chandler. Screw it. At least we're not. At least Jon Jones. At least Chandler is not detestable as Jon Jones. I know some people don't like Chandler, fighters, fans, etc. But compared to Jon Jones, Chandler is more easy to root for than fucking Jones. And plus, some people don't like McGregor because all the antics, etc. And plus, the situation of Ireland with his whole case, which is questionable. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, I'm not gonna go too far, but yeah, some weird shit going on with McGregor. And part of it is McGregor's fault for partying and doing drugs and not being responsible, but that's a whole other story for another day. Just look at MMA Guru's videos about the McGregor situation. You'll know what I mean. But yeah, like I said, listen, McGregor on this card, yes, let's go. McGregor, yes, please. Jones, fuck you. No. This event itself, please, we need this to happen. Let's go. And like I said, we need the main card needs to have at least one American fighter in this card. Big names too, and big matchups. America versus the world, I mean, it should be mostly that, but also you can have America versus American, and it'll be great. By then, you'll probably have more Americans fighting for championships and championship positions. I know people talking about how America has fallen off MMA, which I think is a little over exaggeration by people because people were saying about Brazil 10 years ago, like 9 years ago. Oh, Brazil's falling off. You're not gonna see as many dominant Brazilians as back then. I remember people saying that, and looking now, we still got Brazilian champions, Brazilian contenders. World America will be back. Most of the big gyms are in America. A lot of guys come over to train, so the Americans are working with other elite guys from around the world. Americans will be back. It's people say America's falling off. It's an exaggeration, overstatement by some MMA fans. But I mean, that's just my opinion. But yeah, so we'll get plenty of top Americans on this fight card. It'll be a stat card. We need to happen. 80% chance it happens, in my opinion. Let's go. I want it. Can't wait to see it. Let's fucking go. It'll be awesome. And yeah, let me know what you guys think on this card. Who you like to see in this card, and what your thoughts on the idea in general. Don't forget the video thumbs up. I'll see you next time. Good day, good night, and God bless the USA. As my voice cracks for some odd reason. Ugh. God bless the USA.